Welcome to Clarity Podcast. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here because we're about to embark on an incredible journey exploring the fascinating world of meditation and mindfulness. And today, we will be using the lens of cutting-edge science. This is our very first episode, and I can't wait to share these mind-blowing discoveries with you. So let's dive in.
Okay, raise your hand if your brain ever feels like a browser with just like 47 tabs open. And maybe 3 of them are playing music, but you have no idea which ones, and it's just noise.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there. Honestly, for the longest time, I really thought meditation was for, maybe hippies or people who owned way too many crystals. It just didn't seem like something for my brain.
Yeah.
You know, the one that's always going, always thinking. But then I found out what it actually does to your stressed out brain. And it's not just woo-woo stuff. It's real changes. So today, we're doing a deep dive into the honestly fascinating science of how meditation literally rewires your brain.
That's exactly right. And our mission today is really to unpack how this works, how meditation creates these lasting structural and functional changes in your brain. We want you to understand the measurable benefits, the real science, and maybe realize how accessible it actually is.
Accessible is good.
And what's really wild is these changes, they start happening within weeks. I'm not talking years down the line. Some studies even suggest it can make your brain look, well, decades younger in certain ways, like turning back the clock on brain aging.
Okay, yeah, younger brain, less stress. I'm listening.
So yeah, we'll look at why your brain feels so tired, what specifically changes when you meditate, the neurochemicals involved, tackle those common objections.
Oh yeah, the I can't sit still one.
Definitely that one. And then, importantly, how you can start really, really simply.
All right, let's get into it. So first up, this feeling of being exhausted. There's this voice in your head, right? The one that never shuts up. And honestly, it's not always your friend. It's judging your outfit or worrying about that email from 3 hours ago or replaying that awkward thing you said last week.
Over and over.
Exactly. It's just this constant chatter. It's draining, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And scientifically, that's often related to what we call the default mode network, or DMN.
DMN.
Think of it like your brain's screensaver mode. It kicks in when you're not focused on a specific external task. Your mind just wanders.
But not always wandering to nice places.
Precisely. For many people, the DMN means rumination, worrying, self-criticism, just rehashing things. It burns a lot of mental energy. And interestingly, DMN dysfunction, when it's overactive or not regulated, well, it's linked to things like ADHD, depression, anxiety, even Alzheimer's.
Wow. Okay. So it's not just annoying chatter. It's potentially linked to serious stuff.
Yes. Research, like Judson Brewer's work at Yale, shows that experienced meditators actually have quieter DMNs. Their brain's screensaver is calmer.
Okay. So scientists call it the default mode network. I'm going to stick with calling it the why did I say that network.
Huh. That's pretty accurate for many.
So what does all this mean for you listening? Why are we all walking around so mentally tired?
It means your brain is basically running background apps all the time, draining your mental battery on this internal noise, even when it's not helpful. Meditation specifically helps to quiet down this DMN activity.
How?
By training your attention. When you meditate, you practice noticing when your mind wanders, which is often the DMN kicking in and gently bringing it back. This reduces the DMN's hold, creating more mental space, more presence, less clutter. It directly tackles that feeling of exhaustion by giving your brain a real break.
A break from itself, almost.
In a way, yes. A break from the unhelpful chatter.
Okay, this is where it starts to get really wild for me. The idea that this isn't just a feeling, but something physical. You mentioned Harvard researchers scan people's brains before and after meditating. What did they find?
Yeah, this is Sarah Lazar's research, really groundbreaking stuff. They found measurable physical changes. After just 8 weeks meditating about 27 minutes a day, participants showed increases in gray matter density.
Gray matter. That's the thinking stuff, right?
Exactly. Processing information, memory, emotions. Specifically, they saw growth in the hippocampus.
Hippocampus.
Yeah.
Memory and learning.
Correct. Crucial for memory consolidation, learning new things, even emotional regulation. It got bigger. But maybe even more striking, the amygdala actually shrank.
The amygdala. That's the panic button, right? The stress center.
That's the one. Your brain's alarm system. It triggers fight or flight. After 8 weeks of this mindfulness program, MBSR, they saw a 22% reduction in its volume.
22%, that's huge.
It is significant, and functionally, participants showed less reactivity to emotional triggers. They reported feeling less stressed, more resilient.
So less freaking out when things go wrong.
Essentially, yes. The alarm bell isn't ringing quite so loudly or as often.
So the stress center shrinks. It's like deflating a really annoying loud balloon in your head.
That's a good way to put it.
And the memory center grows. So maybe I can remember where I put my keys.
It certainly helps. Improved memory consolidation, better learning capacity, it's quite profound.
It really does sound like magic, but it's just biology.
It's neuroplasticity in action. Your brain changing based on experience. And the changes don't stop there. Other studies show experienced meditators have thicker cortical layers, the outer part of the brain responsible for higher thinking.
Thicker.
Yes, equivalent sometimes to people 20 years younger. So a 50-year-old meditator might have the cortical thickness of a typical 30-year-old non-meditator.
Wow. So it keeps your brain young, in a way.
It suggests that, yes, it helps maintain cognitive function. And another area, the insula, often shows enlargement too.
The insula, what does that do?
It's key for interoceptive awareness, basically, tuning into your body's signals, heart rate, breath, gut feelings.
Ah, so being more aware of what's going on inside.
Right. Which helps with emotional processing and self-regulation. You respond more thoughtfully instead of just reacting.
Okay, so summing this up, it's kind of like Marie Kondo for your brain.
Ha! How so?
You know, decluttering, keeping the useful stuff like memory and focus, and tossing the mental clutter like the excessive stress reactions.
That's a fantastic analogy, actually. It's about optimizing the brain's structure for better function and well-being.
Okay, so brain structure changes.
Yeah.
Amazing. But what about the chemistry? You hear about stress hormones and happy chemicals.
Absolutely. Meditation is also like unlocking your brain's own internal pharmacy. And this pharmacy has some really potent, beneficial compounds.
Better than energy drinks.
Definitely better. And without the crash or side effects, we see significant shifts in key neurochemicals. For example, GABA levels, that's your brain's primary calming neurotransmitter. It helps reduce anxiety, can increase by about 27% after just an hour of mindful exercises.
27% more natural calm down juice, just from meditating for an hour.
Essentially, yes. And this builds up over time, creating more baseline resilience. Then there's serotonin, the happiness molecule. Studies show levels rise, sometimes reaching what researchers call anxiety-resistant levels.
Anxiety-resistant. I like the sound of that.
It means your brain is naturally better equipped to handle anxiety. And dopamine involved in reward, motivation, focus that can increase by up to 65% during certain practices like yoga nidra.
65%. Okay, so better focus, more motivation.
Enhancing that inner directed attention, exactly. And on the other side of the coin, cortisol, the big stress hormone, goes down.
I understand.
Dramatically. Regular practitioners can show reductions of 50% or more. Even short programs reduce that morning cortisol spike many stressed people get.
That cortisol spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And there's more. BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it like miracle grow for your brain cells.
Okay.
It's crucial for neuroplasticity, learning, brain health. Intensive retreats have shown BDNF increases of up to 300%.
300%.
It's quite staggering. Plus, inflammatory markers in the body, things like IL-6, also decrease significantly. Meditation seems to reduce systemic inflammation.
Wow. Okay, so pulling this all together, these chemical changes mean less road rage maybe,
Yeah.
better sleep, not wanting to hide from your coworkers on Monday.
That's the real-world impact, yes. Your brain is literally boosting its own calming chemicals, its own mood enhancers, its own growth factors.
Like it's saying, okay, I can handle this. Let me just brew up some more calm.
Precisely. It explains the therapeutic effects. You're building this internal biochemical resilience.
Okay. I'm sold on the benefits. Brain gets rewired, chemistry gets better, but I can hear people listening thinking what I used to think. Great theory, but I can't do that.
Right. The objections.
Yeah, like, I don't have time. That's a big one.
It is. And the science counters it pretty well. Benefits start with just 10 minutes a day. Seriously.
10 minutes, like scroll TikTok for 10 minutes or meditate for 10 minutes.
Exactly. We often find time for things that aren't nearly as beneficial. Structural changes show up after 8 weeks with maybe 13, 27 minutes daily. Consistency is key, not marathon sessions.
Okay, so consistency over duration. What about, my mind is too busy, I can't stop thinking?
That's probably the most common one. And it's like saying you're too dirty to take a shower. The busy mind is why you meditate. It's the training ground. Remember that anterior cingulate cortex, your attention filter?
Yeah, the conflict monitor thing.
Meditation strengthens it. Noticing your mind wander and bringing it back, that's the exercise. That's the mental push-up.
So the wandering isn't failure, it's the opportunity to do a rep.
Perfectly put. Each time you bring it back, you strengthen that attentional muscle.
Okay, next objection. I'm not spiritual. This isn't for me.
Totally valid concern for some. But from the scientific view we're discussing today, it's brain training, not religion. We're looking at measurable neurological changes. It's exercise for the brain, like jogging is for the legs. No belief system required.
It just requires a brain?
Pretty much. And finally, the classic. I tried it once and I failed. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's like trying to run a marathon on day one, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect that. Meditation is a skill. It takes practice. You feel some cute effects quickly, like stress reduction after one session. But the deeper changes take time.
Like weeks for some things, 8 weeks for others. Exactly. White matter changes in 2 to 4 weeks, gray matter around 8 weeks. It's a process. Be patient with yourself. It's not about instant perfection.
Okay, so for everyone listening who's maybe thinking, just maybe I could try this, but it still feels kind of big. How do you make it super easy? Like the lazy person's guide to starting meditation for people who, frankly, might hate the idea of meditating.
Right. The key is to start ridiculously small, like almost absurdly small. 3 minutes.
3 minutes. That's shorter than brewing coffee.
Exactly. Or waiting for a YouTube ad to finish. Consistency beats duration. 3 to 5 minutes every day is way better than 1 hour once a month.
Okay, 3 minutes. What do we do in those 3 minutes, and what should I expect?
The simplest start is just focusing on your breath. Feel the air come in, feel it go out, that's it. And expect your mind to wander a lot.
So expect the failure.
Expect the opportunity. Remember, that wandering isn't failure, it's the whole point. That's when the push-up happens. You just notice, oh, thinking about laundry. And gently, kindly bring your focus back to the breath, over and over.
Gently and kindly, not, ugh, I messed up again.
Definitely not. Think of it like training a puppy. You wouldn't yell at it every time it got distracted, right? You just gently guide it back. Be patient with your mind.
Okay, puppy training for the brain. I like that. Are there tools, apps?
Oh, tons. Insight Timer, Calm, Headspace. Lots of free guided meditations on YouTube, too. They can guide you through those first few minutes. Some people find focusing on breath tricky, so a guided body scan or just listening to sounds can also work. Find what feels least annoying to start.
Least annoying. Good goal.
And if you want a slight technical boost, breathing slowly, around 4 to 6 breaths per minute, helps activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your calm down system.
So just slowing the breath down naturally tells your body to relax.
Precisely. It's a direct physiological hack.
And this is really one of the most accessible things anyone can do for their brain health, isn't it?
Absolutely. It doesn't require fancy equipment or lots of money. It's an internal tool you already possess.
You know, just listening to all this, thinking about how the brain changes, my brain is probably changing right now.
It absolutely is. That's neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
Your brain is constantly adapting based on what you focus on, what you learn. Even learning about meditation primes it. And if there's one thing to take away from all this science, it's this. You don't have to be perfect at it. You don't have to achieve some state of perfect zen.
Just got to show up.
Just show up. The evidence is so clear. You start getting measurable, lasting benefits in brain structure and function within weeks. Just by practicing consistently. You're literally training your brain for more calm, more focus, more resilience.
One breath at a time.
One breath at a time.
Okay, so here's a little challenge for you listening. Just try 3 minutes. Today. Right now, even, after this finishes. Seriously, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Maybe you feel slightly less frazzled for a few minutes. Seems like a pretty good gamble.
It's a powerful first step. You're tapping into a scientifically validated way to train your mind, optimize your brain, and really navigate life with a bit more ease and clarity. Give it a try.